So we're a big pro to a company, and we're always looking to bring people into the fold. That is the mission of Goon Tape. We are looking to get people to understand that firearms are a necessary tool, and that in our belief system, the more people we get to understand that, the less likely it is that they will ever be going away in this country.
Dude, I'm ready to go, baby. I'm excited by Adam's smile.
Yeah, and everybody knows safe word.
Here we are, finally, at last. Whiskey and Windage, sitting down and chatting with Mr. Adam from Goon Tape.
Let's go.
Adam, welcome to Whiskey and Windage, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing freaking wonderful, dudes. It's Memorial Day. We're relaxing, having a little family barbecue here. Dude, what more can you ask for? I don't know about in Nashville and in Idaho, but out here in New York, it is freaking gorgeous. And dude, I'm just pumped to be here. So thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's a little overcast here, but I'm not complaining. Got to shoot a little bit today. But yeah, man, it's just been a great little weekend. Can't ever lose sight of what it's really for, but it does also give a great excuse for us to get together with family and friends also to build those bonds even more. Matt, what about you, bro?
Dude, just got back from a great Memorial Day trip myself. It's beautiful here in Boise, Idaho. About 82 degrees, sun shining, loving it. And let's always remember what Memorial Day is for, you know?
Yeah.
They would want us hanging out with family and having a good time, so.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into our first segment about Let's Ask AI, let's go ahead and get this. Let's get these ad reads done so we can pay some bills. Tools are an investment, and Wheeler Tools makes your investment count. Built for accuracy, durability, and ease of use, Wheeler Tools are trusted by professionals and hobbyists alike. From scope leveling kits to full AR builds, their tools give you reputable results with fewer headaches. No shortcuts, no strip screws, just the right tools every time.
Yeah, we also want to shout out our friends over at EOTech. EOTech optics are built for performance in the toughest environments. With holographic sights that deliver rapid, precise target acquisition, EOTech helps you stay fast and accurate in the field. Their sights are rugged, waterproof, and designed to perform under any condition. From range to the battlefield, whether you're a tactical professional or a weekend shooter, EOTech's advanced technology gives you the clarity and precision you need for every shot. Don't forget to use Whiskey 10 at checkout with our partners. It'll get you 10% off.
Man, hey, we got one more that's not giving you 10 off, but Adam, you got a quick one off the cuff?
Yeah, I got a quick one off the cuff for sure. You know what? Let's set up a Whiskey 10 code for Goon Tape. Appreciate you guys having me here. I'll make sure we get that set up before the end. But yeah, this is my little Goon Tape spiel here. So if you're a tactical athlete looking for an edge, check out our moisture activated raid tape. It's made from an ultra strong blend of natural and synthetic fibers that help keep you on target and in the fight, even when the work gets wet. And it is an American made product. So we're super proud of that. And, yeah, just 2A all the way, baby. That's what we're all about.
Dude, I love it. And that was off the cuff. Like, this man is a natural. I love it. I love it.
I just came up with that right now.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Dude, I'm going to send it to you later. You almost said when you went moisture and I was like moisture wicking, I was like, ooh, is he talking about moisturizing? Ooh, it feels good on my hands.
Dude, got to stay hydrated out here.
Yeah, man. Yes, you do. So on our first segment, Adam, the first segment is going to be great because we ask AI. It's a healthy blend between ChatGPT, Grok, all these open source AIs. And so what I asked AI this time was, what is Goon Tape and who is the guy behind it?
Okay.
This is what we got.
Okay.
Goon Tape is a specialized grip tape designed for tactical applications. It offers a soft, non-slip surface that enhances grip on firearms, tools, and other equipment. Crafted from a blend of synthetic fibers and natural cotton, the tape is moisture wicking and durable, making it suitable for various conditions. Now, here's the part that's about you, and I can't wait to hear when we're done with this, how accurate these things are or how not.
There we go.
So,
yeah.
the brand was founded by Adam, known as Tots to his friends. He serves as founder and social media manager of Goon Tape. The Goon Tape team also includes lots of contributors and photographers. Goon Tape has gained popularity for its functionality and distinctive branding, appealing in both firearm enthusiasts and airsoft players. The company emphasizes quality and domestic manufacturing, aiming to provide reliable gear for its users.
Cool. That
Are we
was
tots?
great.
Are we not tots?
That was super chill, dude. I was expecting it's like despite all the positive people associated with the Goon Tape branding, Adam, its founder, is a complete and total douche.
Yes. Well, what's interesting though is when it throws out nicknames or it starts throwing those things, I know it's usually just like, yeah, it's searching through past articles or it's searching on your website or whatever. But when it throws nicknames up, it's kind of freaky to know that your phone, you can ask it a question and it's like, yeah, we call him. And it's like, oh, geez, is that right? So it's pretty neat.
Dude, it's cool. I was like definitely a major AI hater a few months ago when it first came out, and I'd be like the first person to be like, dude, you got tricked by that. It's so obviously AI. And at the time, you know, it's like you could tell a lot more. Now, bro, dude, I use it for so much. I'm like, I am the machine, and it's bad. It's not good, dude. I don't know if you can put you know, that expression, right? It's like, I don't know if you could put Pandora back in that box, but man, dude, I mean, like we use it for a lot of stuff now, and it's helpful. It's
amazing to find out, and I hate to say this, but this generation that is coming out of school right now, I hope they are intelligent, but I'm leaning towards they've got to be the dumbest generation on the planet, because a lot of them, and I know for a fact, passed all of their college courses and everything with ChatGPT, with the help of AI. And it's
can't blame them, dudes. I mean,
hey, write me a paper, write me a thesis on this subject and make sure I don't plagiarize and make sure to cite my sources and make it sound like I wrote it. And like, it's going to write it. And you're like, are you kidding me?
Good too. And you know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of how, you know, like when you guys were going to school and your math teacher would be like, you're not going to have a calculator.
You're not going to have a calculator in your pocket.
You need it, you know? And it's like, dude, we
guess what?
Little did he know.
Guess what?
You know? So
I love
like,
that.
I'm cool if people are like using it and they're able to use it effectively. It doesn't bother me, especially if I can't tell. But, you know, like we've had people
when it's a crutch
send us emails and it's like very obviously somebody just said, please send this email, you know, and it's, I don't know, lack of style points, you know, it's not even like, it's just annoying because I'm like, no creativity, dude. Like what, you know, that's just, at least have a little fun with it.
Yeah. But, what I like to do, I was going to say, when we use AI, like I use it sometimes and it's like, hey, you know, we've got a show coming up. So give me some insightive, you know, interesting, fun questions and give me 100 questions. And I'll filter through, find the ones that we want, reword them how we want to say it, but it just helps with the idea process. And it does, usually you'll get one question, then it'll spur two more in my head that I want to ask. So it does have its place, but at the same time, like you said, man, once it's a crutch and you realize like, hey, all this conversation we've had through email and text, like you don't talk like that. What's wrong with you?
You don't talk.
Dude, Sarah Connor's hardcore judging us, you know, right now. She's like, don't be saying please to freaking ChatGPT, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I am polite to it as well. I am polite.
Matt,
I say please and thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't want him to come out of your computer and grab a hold of you. So, well,
on that note, I think it's time for rapid fire.
Oh, dang. Okay, rapid fire. Here we go.
Yeah, so we've got 20 questions. We're going to ask them to you. You're not timed, but we do go through these. It's pretty simple. One or two word answers. Yeah. Cool. So whenever you're ready, Matt, kick it.
All right, Adam. 3, 2, 1. If you need a team of 4 for a rescue mission and you're a team leader, who are your other 3 teammates?
Off the cuff, Chris at Allied Threads, my boy Anthony P down in Houston, Texas, and who's my last person? Emily, Tactical Emily, Feral Fave too, for sure.
There you go.
That's 3, and then is it 4 total? I got to get one more guy.
You're the 4th.
The other guy.
I was the other guy. Okay, lucky them.
What's one word to describe the gun industry?
Fun. it's fun as hell, dude. I mean, fucking blow shit up. And can I fucking curse, or is that
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're more
Yeah,
than
no.
2 minutes in. We're good to go.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good
Fuck
to
yeah.
go.
It's fun, bro. I mean, dude, I always make this joke when things are getting a little stressful. It's like, we could be selling insurance. Let's, kind of keep this into perspective here. We're in the gun industry. Let's, it's fun. We
I
could
could
have
be
fun
sitting
with
in a
this.
cubicle.
Yes.
Literally. Come on.
Yeah. If not Goon Tape, you will use blank instead.
Spit. Fucking.
Hell yeah. I
I
love it. I love it.
Favorite caliber?
Favorite caliber. Probably 45 AARP, the Lord's caliber, bro.
Ooh.
I mean,
AARP.
45
AARP.
AARP.
Makes a big old hole, and my World Wars, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
dare you?
And it comes with a free cup of coffee if you shoot it before 7 a.m.
Amen. Amen.
Would you rather be a tactical influencer who can't shoot or a competitive shooter who can't talk?
I can't talk. I have no interest in influencing. That is like my nightmare. So I'll go the opposite route. I'll be a shooter that can't talk. Was that what you said? Shooter?
Yes.
tactic?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Competition shooter who can't talk. Well, what was the first gun you ever bought?
First gun I ever bought was a side-by-side 12 gauge. I actually was with my buddy. I knew nothing about firearms other than that I liked them. But I was with my buddy who was in college, and I was like his designated driver. He'd go play these poker tournaments. And he ended up, make this long story short, but he ended up like coming in third in the big ass poker tournament at this casino, was so mad, put all his winnings on roulette and lost, and I won like $1,000 in a slot machine. And so he was pissed off. And then like the very next day I was like, finally some discretionary income here as a college student. Went down to my local gun store, and I was just trying to think of something like, what could I get where like I'm from Long Island, New York, so like it's not exactly, people aren't super gun chill here, so I wanted to be able to like get something where people weren't like, what the what why
What? Yeah.
So I got this awesome side by side enclosed hammers. I still have it, and yeah, it's the best. I freaking love that gun.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. Most overrated piece of gear.
Most overrated piece of gear. Ooh, that's a really tough question. Wow, that's a really good question. Most overrated piece of gear. I don't want to think too hard on this. Dang. I would say, I don't know if this is the right answer here, but like I think it's probably your weapon system, dude. I mean, like you're probably good with your Glock 19 and your sub $1,000 AR. I mean, that's probably, I'm not saying to buy shit, but like, the staccatos are sick, but I mean, if you suck, you still suck.
If you suck, you still suck.
You just still have a staccato,
Yeah.
Best gun reviewer of all time.
Best gun reviewer of all time. Wow, that's a good one too. Shoot, you guys are hitting me with some good ones. I'm a big fan of the boys over at Gun Blast TV. Some of the OGs.
Okay. Man.
Trying to think here. The best gun reviewer of all time. Yeah, I like. Let me just think here. Yeah, I'll say the Gun Blast TV boys. I enjoy their stuff. They're old school. They're fuds. Sorry, hard D. I went hard D on that. Just like myself. But yeah, I like the reviews that are like they were what was once magazine article style of reviews, and now they've just been put in front of the camera.
I like that.
But there's so many good ones, man. I mean, like I love Hickok 45. I like all the old
Love
school
Hickok.
dudes,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there.
What's your least favorite color of Goon Tape?
My least favorite color. Oh no.
Or
My
pattern.
My least favorite pattern. That's tough, man. I would say probably the wolf gray. We did what do we call it? We called it ghost gray. That was probably my least favorite, just because at the time we released it during the winter and everyone's like, you should have done white. And I'm like, I know, but it's hard to sell that in the summertime. So like everyone asking for white is probably the reason why I hate the gray.
That makes sense.
To be fair, they were also correct. We should have
done
white. Oh well.
What's the most difficult part of the body to remove Goon Tape from?
Allegedly anything with a lot of hair that doesn't see the light of day. Bro, we used to get messages like when we first started up, somebody got like a goon tattoo on her ass, right? And we reposted it, and then we just got flooded with like pornography. That was the only way
We just got flooded with pornography.
Dude, literally, we just had chicks that were like wearing nothing but Goon Tape, and I was like, you're gonna regret that. And sure enough, the messages came in, be like, you're like, why, like, why did you have me do this? And I'm thinking, what would make you think that we would want you to do this? But yeah, don't be putting it on anywhere where you got hair and you still want to keep that hair.
Yeah. I love that.
And lastly, if you weren't at Goon Tape, what would you be doing?
And I'd be I would think like a farmer or something like that. That's what I like. That's like my serenity in the back of my mind. I'm like, I want a nice little piece of land. I want some animals, grow some easy crops so that, my family don't be starving. But yeah, dude, maybe like a farmer or something like that. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Well, you've made it through rapid fire. It wasn't that bad.
Dang. Okay, cool.
Yeah, wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But now we're ready to get into learning more about who you are and also the brand. So
okay.
Yeah, when you first got into firearms, like what was your first memory of firearms?
Oof. Of firearms, dude, GoldenEye on N64. That to me, like I said, I grew up in New York, Long Island, so it's very suburban. People have guns, there's a lot of good duck hunting. People go upstate and hunt their deer, but like for the most part, it's not a very firearm centric culture. So I got exposed to it playing GoldenEye, playing SOCOM Navy SEALs on PS2, and then me and all my buddies, we had airsoft guns, and we would blast each other in the woods behind my house. So that's like kind of how I got into everything, which is I think reflects in a lot of our content. We try to make it fun. Our thing is guns are fun. And that's,
they are.
Yeah, they're fucking great, dude. They're awesome. So yeah, that's how I got into firearms, I'll say.
Yeah, for sure. So when you first started your venture and you had this idea for Goon Tape, I guess you were probably, creating a solution to a problem, but lots of people always ask the question when people start a new business in the firearms industry, like, bro, why the gun world? Like,
yes.
there's so many other places that even your product may even still be applicable, but it's just what drew you into the space other than the guns are fun, and why was it appealing?
So initially what we were looking to do was, it was kind of like a two-part solution. I'm a big AK guy too, and them mothers get pretty hot. You shoot a little quickly and all of a sudden C-clamping really ain't your friend anymore. So we were looking for a heat-resistant solution, essentially, that you could buy on the cheap and wrap around an AK handguard, and have it be something that was disposable, high quality, and worked without looking too pretty. So I mean, that was the original intent behind the product, and behind that intent was me thinking to myself, how could I write off an AK pattern rifle for my businesses? And
research and development.
Yeah, dude, literally. So I had read this book. You guys have probably heard of it. It's, some people love it, some people hate it. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, what I got from it was, dude, if you want to be financially stable, you need to buy assets and not buy stupid stuff. So I was like, cool, I still want to buy the stupid things, but how could I have them bring the businesses some money? So I was like, cool, we shoot AKs. What could we do with that? I'm not an engineer, we could hire engineers, but like, what would be something that we could figure out problem solving wise and have it be a solution that would work without it being like, oh, I got to go back to university to go get my degree to figure out this problem. It's like, gun gets hot, we need to make less hot, I mean.
Yeah. So that makes perfect sense. And so you came out with Goon Tape, and let's start with the name Goon Tape. I mean, you mentioned AKs, so you have a love for that lifestyle.
Dude.
What would you define, and there's no wrong answer, but what is the Goon mindset or lifestyle?
Yeah. So to me, like a goon is somebody who does the dirty work. No pun intended, right? So it's, if Goon Tape, it's not the pretty solution, but it works. So we felt that that was a perfect name for us because it's not, we're not the White Knights. By any stretch of the imagination, and a goon is like, it's like an idiot, and we're a group of idiots. So, and I say that, lovingly, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like support your local scumbag, and scumbag tape just didn't have the right ring to it. So, goon it is.
Love that. Love that. So so you came out with this stuff. A lot of people, will go ahead and cut to the chase. Some people, when you first talk to people about, new tape, new whatever, somebody's going to say, oh, it's just rebranded this tape or just rebranded that tape. But you actually took this on and you actually kind of made this your own proprietary blend, didn't you?
Yeah. So when we first started out, actually what we had originally done was the tape itself was metallic. And the idea was it was kind of going to be like exhaust wrap.
Okay.
The problem with that, there were a few issues, without going down the rabbit hole. It just didn't really work that great. And it was very difficult to produce a lot of it and still have it be cost effective and have the packaging work and make the logistics work out. But really also we were hoping that this would be like a Goldilocks solution where you could use it to run on your AKM and, keep the heat down. But we also wanted it to be something that people that were running their appendix inside the waistband concealed carry pistol, especially Glocks, or dudes that maybe aren't huge into the stippling or just wanted a little extra grip when their hands get a little slick. We wanted it to work well for that. And there were a lot of cloth tapes out there. And essentially what we did was we picked the things that we liked. We figured out, okay, this is going to work well. This we need to improve upon a little bit. Called up a bunch of factories and found one that was like, we'll do it for you. You just got to buy a metric fuck ton of this stuff. So it was during COVID. And at the time, I was in a completely different industry. I was in the private security industry, and my bread and butter was corporate event security. And, during COVID, corporations not really looking to throw a whole bunch of parties. So I was like, okay, this is, there's no effing way this is only going to last 2 weeks. So this is the right time to start. We started during COVID, ended up getting our first shipment of like premium, Goon Tape, and like towards the end of the summer, and then we launched in October of that year. So that's kind of how it all started. A lot of trial and error, but no, for anybody wondering, we did not invent tape. Other people have invented tape. This is our blend that we think is the best Goldilocks solution, like I said, for the gun industry. Also, dude, we, it's like we use XYZ tape. Awesome. I love
Good
that.
for
I'm
you.
happy. We're not going to hard sell you for it, but I will say probably not a lot of other athletic tape companies that are like, we want to legalize nukes for everyone and stuff like that. That's kind of our space in the tape game is, we're extremely pro 2A if you couldn't tell.
If you are reloading, you need tools that work as hard as you do. And that's exactly what you get with Frankfurt Arsenal. Their top-of-the-line reloading equipment, including case cleaners, powder dispensers, and presses, are designed for precision and efficiency. Whether you're a competitive shooter or a weekend reloader, Frankfurt Arsenal helps you save time and get more consistent, high-performance rounds. Reload smarter. Reload with Frankfurt Arsenal, because your ammo deserves the best. Adam, since the original inception of Goon Tape, how many revisions did it take until you were happy with the product? Like, this is
a lot. Realistically, before we even settled on like a cloth material that was non-metallic, and we had probably tested about 10 or 15 existing products to figure out what, oh yeah, for sure. Dude, I was like, I think there were probably conspiracy theories about why I was in Home Depot every day, just buying every sort of, they're like,
what's this guy building?
Yeah. Does he have people? Like, are they being tied up? Like, what's with all the tape?
That's hilarious.
So yeah,
does he have
tested
people?
So much different stuff. And it was, it took a while, but at the same time, I mean, our testing was not exactly in a lab. It was, out on the flat range, and we were like, okay, we're gonna mag dump, this particular version right here. Okay, let it cool down. Yeah, that was still really hot. Okay, that didn't work. It's like,
No good.
yeah. So I
This
mean,
one's melting.
yes, exactly. And I mean, as far as the materials are concerned, that it's very subjective, and that's part of the reason I think actually why we've had success with our raid tape is because people like the way it feels. I love the way it feels, especially like as a new roll. Like I call it t-shirt tape because to me it just feels like a comfy ass t-shirt that
Yeah.
you probably have had for 15 years or so. Yeah, it's hard to put that into words because some people are like, okay, well, hey, I'm a saw gunner and I need something a little bit more grippy. Absolutely, dude. That's, this probably isn't your ideal solution, although we are working on that. Saw gunners, we got you, dogs. All right.
Yeah.
But we wanted something that we were super proud of, and this is comfortable. Like I am not strapping on a duty belt. I'm not in the military, and I was thinking, well, if I get stuck with like tens of thousands of this tape, will I at least be able to use it, if nobody else wants it? So that's kind of how it all came about.
That's crazy. But what's interesting about the tape, I've got it. I mean, we've got I've got the black, I've got the what is it? The FDE color. I forget what you call it. Is it rat?
Desert rat. Yeah.
Desert rat. And then of course the Fleck Tarn, which was a funny story you and I got to laugh about.
Oh my God.
Because
so good.
Because it was posted by Steyer. Dude, it was
So
posted
good.
by Steyer, like, oh, what do y'all think about this Cerakote job?
Yeah.
And Adam and I were just laughing. We were like, man, we think it's dope, but it's tape.
Yeah,
But it's
dude,
tape.
I was cracking up when I saw that too, because I was like, dude, we love the homies at Steyer too, and I was like, oh no, are they gonna be annoyed with that?
No.
Motherfuckers.
Oh no. But what I found interesting when I first got experience with your tape was, I got to be honest, when I put it on there, the moment I cut it with the shears and I finished wrapping it, I didn't like it before I even used it. And the reason I didn't like it was because I was like, this thing is going to leave residue like a son of a bitch.
Right.
Well, you start using it and you realize it doesn't leave residue. It just feels like it's going to leave residue. It's got so much grip. It's almost like you've dipped your hand in something sticky to grab and you're like, oh God, this is going to be held up. Like I'm going to need like Gojo or whatever it is to wash my hand after I use this thing every time. And you use it and you grab it and you're like, I mean, I'm not really sticky. Like, holy shit, this is some pretty cool stuff.
If you cut the tape with a blade, it'll maintain the structure of the sidewall. So the rubber, the adhesive we use is a natural rubber. It's super mild. But if you rip the tape or use your teeth, the sidewall will lose its integrity, and you could, some of the adhesive
kind of curl
the side. Yeah. And some people like that. So we don't have an opinion one way or the other, because some people love it because they're like, dude, it gets my hands all tacky and I love that. And then other people are like the complete opposite side. So we have this like little, Goon Tape arts and crafts scene that we like to promote, which is just like, dude, we love showcasing like that, like your Steyer mic. People are, way more creative and artistic with it than I am. And I find that without putting like a box of like, this is how you use Goon Tape, people do all sorts of awesome, weird stuff that I would never even think of. And it like, dude, it's like fun. You see stuff,
but it works.
It's great. Yeah,
but
dude, for sure.
It works, but it was like, man, I was like so worried right when I put it on, like, oh gosh, did I make a mistake? And it was on a pistol grip. And then when I realized it's tacky, but it doesn't leave the residue, I was like, oh dude, this is money. It's going on everything I've got now.
Yeah, cool.
So I loved that. But at first it had so much tack to it. It was scary. It was like, uh-oh, did I just mess something up here?
Yes.
But
for sure.
But when you guys launched, what is there a moment that stands out where you're like, holy shit, like we might have just broke through, or holy shit, like we did it, boys. We did it.
You know what? I don't know. I mean, like, dude, like I'm always like, I still think I'm like, dude, we're yet to break through, like, you know, and then like, dude, I'll meet people and they'll be like, oh, I know Goon Tape. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I'm not thinking that anybody knows what it is. So I'm always like, look, we gotta keep pushing forward and keep doing fun stuff and keep attracting people and showing them that, you know, this corner of the internet is a fun place to be because, you know, we're showing guns and goons and girls and, you know, and something else that starts with a G that I can't think of. I don't know. Gold. I don't know. We don't do
There you go. Gold.
We should though. But
Sure.
no, man, like, I mean, it's a really good question.
Was there an influencer, or was there
absolutely. Yeah. So Clayco 47, as I mentioned, I'm a big AK guy, and Clay now has
Rachel's husband.
Yeah,
we know Rachel.
Rachel's
Rachel's husband.
Yes, Rachel's husband. So
Okay.
Rachel's husband.
Got it.
You know, I had been a fan of for a while during COVID, just watching his channel, and I thought, I was like, you know what, this guy is the type of the type of firearms content that I really can get behind, because it's informative and fun, and nobody's like yelling at me if I don't know, you know, how long the cleaning rod is supposed to be on an AKM or some nonsense, or like,
right.
you know, it was so fun. And then I noticed he was using, I forget what it was at the time. I want to say duct tape, but I don't think it was. And I just sent him a message. We had just started up on Instagram, maybe like that month. And I said, hey, hey man, love your content. Been a fan of your channel for a while on YouTube. Noticed that you were using XYZ tape. Wanted to see if you had any interest in checking our stuff out. And he was so cool, man. He was like, yeah, 100%, you know, send it over. He included it in his videos. I mean, he still does. And that really was probably like, I would say, like, so we ended up going to their, I think it was the first one, Kalash Bash is like this, it's fantastic. If you guys haven't been to Kalash Bash, I definitely recommend it. People ask me, I'm like, what it is, like, oh, it's like Comic-Con, but with AK-47s and
it's Burning Man for AK people.
Yeah, it's sick. It's so fun. And like, to go there and have people be like, oh, no way, Goon Tape's here. That was like, I mean, that's still so cool. We've gone, I think, 4 times, maybe 5 now. And that still like never gets old. That just like, it's like, I want to be like, you know, like, oh yeah, us. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, dude, literally.
That's cool. Clay and his wife Rachel, they're friends of the show. They've joined us a couple of times, and
yes.
we've yet to make it out to Kalash Bash yet. But
you guys got to go next year.
Whiskey and Windage is going, dude.
And if you guys want to squad up, I've been trying to shoot in the competition for literally like every single year. So let me politely nag you guys to go shoot with us and go to the event next year.
Mikey doesn't shoot AKs, but he'll watch us shoot. He doesn't shoot them.
Okay, well, you could run. Do you run subguns, dude? You could run like an MP5 or something like that. They got I think they don't call it good guys. They call it like Western maybe, but like there's a class for people that are that believe in proper ergonomics. I'm just not one of them. So
yeah, Mikey would totally run the subgun class. He would give you good at that.
I would love that. Yeah, KB is something that I do want to go to, and it's cool. Something that I just want to experience. I don't know. It could definitely be cool.
No, for sure.
So go ahead, Matt.
Goon Tape has a pretty strong brand identity, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
What's been the strategy behind the aesthetic and the message that you guys send? Like, where does that come from?
It comes from what I think is cool for the most part, and you know, our friends that are cool, what they would like to see. That's really it. I mean, like, dude, we're like, it's weird because, you know, we have a product, right? We sell it. We're a company that makes a product that solves a problem. But at the same time, I view us more like we are like a studio in a way where a lot of what we're doing that's exciting is nobody wants to see a picture of tape, right? So what we do is we essentially make gun porn, and hey, by the way, our product's on this tape, and then people will share it. And especially with, you know, firearms that are not black, or if you're using a different pattern of tape on a black firearm, you pick up pretty easily, like, okay, there's something on the pistol grip or around the handguard. What is that? And then people will see our channel, and then the idea is like, okay, number one, we have to have really high quality photography and videography, and then just do weird shit. Excuse my language.
No, but that's it.
That's really the secret sauce. And then the final piece is like, what do I think would be cool? We got money to spend on advertising. Where should we, where should we place those dollars? Because they got to be spent. Like, oh, let's go out to Oregon with Jimmy Bruce and go on Drift Week 10, or let's go out to, GOA and hang out with the homies in Tennessee. We try to make it fun. We don't support, as political as we get is guns are good and we need more of them. That's it. And the rest of it is just, this is a fun place to be on the internet. You're probably at work trying not to get back to work. We will give you a little solace and, a safe space to go enjoy your gun porn. And that's really it. That's it. Just what we think would be fun and what we can do within our budget constraints.
Hell yeah. What is the, since you guys have launched, you came out with a couple different patterns.
Yeah.
You've came out with a couple different colors. What is the one that you get most asked about that people want, whether you'll bring it to market or not?
Pink tape. People want pink so fucking badly. And I want to give it to them too. But it's not even a question. Like, we have had people that have been asking for years, and I've been telling them we're going to do it for years. And it's not a good look, because I see the receipts in our DMs and I'll be like, dude, what's to do with pink? And then I'll go to answer hey, we're working on it. Then I see a message that I've written back to this gentleman from years ago of hey, we're working on it. It's fuck.
Oh.
But the thing is, we have to produce the tape in such large quantities to make it affordable at the retail level that, I would love to do every color, every random pattern under the sun, but we're self-funded. So we can't be sitting on 60,000 rolls of unicorn tape. It might sell, but hey, unicorn tape, I don't know if that exists. Maybe that's our next move.
There's some bronies out there, dude. They'll take it.
True. That's true. I know of the bronies, but I don't think I've seen any tactical bronies. Or are there? Maybe I'm missing on that. That sub.
Be careful with that Google machine. But I'm sure that they're out there.
I'm not looking any of this stuff up. Yeah. I'm not Googling. Yeah. I want to see God's Plaid. I want to see M81 coming. That I think could be utilized for a lot of things, more than just the firearm space. You're going to get the hunters wrapping, tree stand parts in it and shit, or the rednecks out there wrapping parts of their truck in it. But I think that one would be a cool one.
I'm with you. The only reason why we didn't do that as our first camo is because there are so many other woodland patterns out there that I didn't want this to be something where people were like, well, I already got woodland. So I don't, I'm doing the Goon Tape version. But
you got to do something different.
Nobody's making a Flex-Tarn tape. So we did a little bit different. We call it Flex-Tarn because, we be out here flexing on them,
yeah.
But it's God's Plaid. It's the best pattern. There is no substitute. It's a bit of a process to make sure the colors are correct. And
what solid colors have you dropped? I know you said the wolf, the black, the desert rat.
Yeah, and then green.
Green. Well, you could probably appeal to the AK crowd and the pink crowd if you would just drop red.
Red and plum people ask for sure.
Plum wrap would be.
So we actually did a plum a while ago. We produced the pattern or the sample, and it looked really good. It was just do we want to sell that, or do we want another run of green, which is what it came to at the time. And it's the brighter colors are great and they're awesome, and if you want to kind of make yourself stand out, that's really cool. We also have a lot of dudes that are doing the deeds and are out there and use our tape in a professional capacity. And it was just,
that's got to be a cool feeling.
It is super cool, man, and incredibly humbling. I mean, dude, we've had people send us pictures of places that you would hope to never have to be in your life, and definitely for sure have gotten to work with some cool people as well. It's probably one of my favorite parts about the business. Maybe my favorite part is just, you guys have it the same way. You get to meet cool people and they inspire you, and you're thinking, damn, that's one cool motherfucker. I want to be his friend. And, I want to be involved in what these guys are involved in, because they're pushing the needle forward. And to go back to the tape, I mean, that was really, at the time we were much less focused on airsoft and way more focused on armed professionals, military police, private security. And, to produce the plum at the time just seemed like it was kind of going away from what was important to our brand, which was, a legitimate product use. And, we'll do it for sure at some point. But I think we're probably going to have to come out with pink so that the pink pitchfork mob doesn't, come a knocking.
I love that. So I guess my last question about Goon Tape, the product itself, are there any precautions that should be taken? I mean, you can talk about, anything on this planet. I mean, it could just be water, and like if you mess with water, someone's going to say, "Oh, well, there's bad side of water, it can cause water spots." Like, is there anything that could happen, or any precautions that should be taken using Goon Tape when it comes to finishes on firearms? Or
don't put it on your safe queens. Like, this is like, if you're worried about the finish on your firearms, like, first of all, nothing should happen, but it is tape. So, with an adhesive, and, it's meant to be used on tools. So if you are taking your heirloom, first generation Colt single action army out and you're wrapping the ivory grips, I mean, it could be fine.
No, you're a goon, and you deserve everything that happens to you. You're an idiot.
We got people like that don't complain about it, and they're like, put the tape on the heirloom, let's go. And I'm like, yes, I love that. But, we don't encourage it, because then if somebody's like, dude, you ruined my great grandfather's World War II Mauser or whatever, I'm like, well, what did you expect, bro? Like,
it's tape. It's tape.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't, same thing, like, dude, we don't advertise anything, medical use wise for it. Just to make sure that it's like, dude, we're a grip solution. Put it on your carry pistol, use it on your tool, wrap your strap, and that's pretty much it. And I would say, like, the last caveat is, if you're a big, like, Soviet weapons enthusiast, they get packed in that cosmoline. The cosmoline does not enjoy interacting with the rubber adhesive that we use. It is strange. I don't know why. It'll just kind of like disintegrate the tape over time, which, again, there's 60 feet of tape in each roll, so you should have enough, but it's not ideal. It's like, it's not, it's not ideal.
Don't recommend that.
I'm one of those stupid people, because I have an Arsenal SLR 107 UR, a Krink, basically in 7.62 from Bulgaria.
Hell yeah.
And I have a really, really rare Russian AKS 74U furniture set for it in beautiful Russian red lacquer. And I was like,
had
Goon Tape.
Oh, no.
And then when I took it off, it was like, it peeled it right off. I was like, oh no. Like,
we got to put that back.
So don't do that.
Let's put that back on.
Don't wrap your, like,
wrap it up.
Wrap it back up.
Roll of tape, Matt.
Your $400 your $400 handguard set in Goon Tape.
Sorry.
It happens.
No, it's okay. I get it.
I mean,
practice refinishing Russian wood. It's going to be a great project. So
yeah. That's not your first time
Don't
around Russian wood. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us.
Wood,
yeah. Polish it. Make it. I want to see you want to see yourself in it, don't you?
Russian wood is glistening in the sundown.
So Goon Tape was obviously, like, the initial thought of it was to be to help buck heat a bit and give a grip solution. But how did you ever imagine the creative ways that it would be used, or like what has been some of your most creative use of Goon Tape that you've seen?
So, yes and no. On the one hand, like, people do incredible things a lot that I'm like, how did you even come up with that? That's wild. And I'll give some examples. But on the other hand, from the very start, that was something that we wanted. We were looking for a product that had a bunch of uses, and it reminded me of this exercise that we did in, like, elementary school, and it was like a contest. It was like you had a rubber band, and the idea was, okay, list as many uses as you can come up with for this rubber band. And I always liked that, because it's just a rubber band, but like the kids, you know, in my class, the stuff they came up with, I was like, wow, it's, you know, it's really cool. And it stuck with me after all these years because it's just a rubber band, but it's so much more. And we were looking for something that wasn't just like, what is it? Oh, it's a new magazine that holds 70 rounds. Or, okay, what is it? It's a, you know, it's a linear comp that, is diverting the blast for. Okay, cool. That's awesome. They have their uses. But if we could come out with something that has a variety of uses, it opens up our potential customer base much wider than, somebody that's like, I have one platform. I got, one potential use case. It's like, dude, people send us stuff like, dude, like on the more mundane side, people are like, my shoes are 90% Goon Tape now because I've had them for 20 years and they just wrap them all the time. They look like they're like, stage hands or like sweeping chimneys from like the 19th century. But it works. And then on the other hand, dude, we got some cool dudes in like the, what they call it, like the non-permissive environment space, like the Ed's Manifesto, Ed Calderon type, like I call them like James Vagabonds because they're like spies, but they look like they're homeless, type deal. And so like some of these guys do some really cool things where like, one of my buddies, he's super cool dude. And, his operational experience, he was like, dude, man, you gotta check this out. Right. And so he's taking this video of his hotel room where he's got like the Goon Tape wrapped around the handle of the door and then of one of the secondary like inside locks so that if somebody's trying to jimmy the lock, it's physically not able to because the leverage of the tape mounted from the locking mechanism to the handle, it like prevents it from moving. And I'm like, that's so cool. And, like now, like I'm an idiot. I'm like, I have a gun. Like, don't come into my room, but he's like, no, like, don't let them in the room. So now I be doing all sorts of weird tape stuff to my hotel room door. So thank you, Ricky, who actually, I got to give a caveat here because Ricky is one of the dudes that I would have on my team in the previous question. So sorry, we got 5 people on our team now, but Ricky's
somebody's in the trunk. He's in the trunk.
Yeah.
He sounds like a smart guy. Yeah.
Ricky's super smart. Yeah. I'll connect you guys. I think you would really like having him on the show, actually.
Yeah, so we found out what Goon Tape is. We've talked about its uses. We've talked about its inception. We've talked about where it's going to go. Let's talk about the other part that you have been afforded the opportunity of doing. And that's getting into a little bit of, it's Memorial Day, so we got to talk about cookouts and, man, like cookouts and firearms training, like it doesn't get much better than that. Agreed. And I saw that you guys are having an event for Goon Fighters.
Yes.
So talk about that.
Yep. So, I'll take a step back to the very beginning, in the land before time. So essentially what we're looking to do, right? So we're a big pro 2A company and we're always looking to bring people into the fold. That is the mission of Goon Tape. We are looking to get people to understand that firearms are a necessary tool, and that in our belief system, the more people we get to understand that, the less likely it is that they will ever be going away in this country. Because at a certain point, it's just, we will be outnumbered by the people that are interested in having daddy government do everything, right? Because a lot of people are like, right, what would you ever need a gun for? And I'm thinking, like, there's how many reasons do you need, right? So yeah. It's I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I was about to go on a completely whole other tangent and it got me excited, but I'll save it for later.
Yeah, well, what I was just going to say is what you were going to go back to the Land Before
barbecue.
Time, talking about the inception of the barbecue. Right.
Yes. So what we want to do is, like I said, bring people into the fold. And I wanted to develop an in-house course that combined firearms training, but also fun that you could learn on your own as a video series, as well as have in-person events. So you can come out and build camaraderie with people that are like-minded. So, if you've ever gone to like a traditional pistol course, there's a lot of stereotypes, involved with a lot of the students. And
no.
Right. So yeah.
No.
So we were looking to put together a course and an event that was like our kind of people, where it was like Kalash Bash, where you go there and you're like, these are my people. So we were trying to do that. the goon space, if you will. And I ended up getting introduced to a gentleman by the name of Jeff Johnsgard through one of my private security mentors. And they invited me down to go train with him for like a week doing like close quarters pistol. And at this point, I had been in the gun industry for like 3 years, and there's no shortage of trainers out there, right? So I was like, I was like, it's kind of a lot of money to go down there. It's like 7 days. I'm driving to Florida. It's from Virginia. It was a little out there. But my buddy was like, look, call up the instructor, talk to him. I'm thinking, dude, I've seen every effing instructor. I've never heard of this guy. There's just no way. There's no way that this is going to be anything that I haven't seen before. And so he's talking to me, and I just immediately was like, wow, this guy is like super smart, and like the questions he was asking were super sharp and got me to think about like what I was trying to get out of my training. And he didn't even discuss what he was doing yet, and I was already like, okay, you sold me. And so I get down there, and essentially what I'll say is so Jeff inherited the center axis relock system, the CAR system, made famous by John Wick, inherited it from his mentor, Paul Castle. So the system that Jeff teaches for us is what he calls 360 CQD. And essentially what that is it's just a, I'll call it, Jeff calls it something else, but it's like a compressed shooting position. And the idea is that most of the threats that are going to be significant problems are within, 10 feet or less. And if you're able to accurately put rounds on target without having to go full extension, you'll be faster. You can manipulate your weapon a little bit more easily in certain scenarios. And when I went down there to take that course, and, I will add the caveat that this is not to say that, you're going to be shooting like John Wick every time. And if you need to make that shot at, 30 meters or whatever, that you're going to be coming up here like this. But, it in and around, like, I'll say like, telephone booth fighting distances. I mean, I was just blown away by how accurate you could be. But what I really liked was it was the first class that I took where, I was taking my time, and I was making one hole groups with my 45 AARP. And he was like, why are you shooting so slowly? Like, the target's like 3 feet in front of you. But I'm like, one hole group. We got to make sure that we're, making those one hole groups, because that's how I was always taught to shoot. And he was like, dude, no, we want to send as many rounds on target, that this dude has got a knife or a gun. He's trying to kill you. Effing, put him down. And then like once that first rep went in of like, my high capacity 7-round 1911, as soon as all the rounds were expended, I was like, oh, this is great. This is really fun. The technique works. It actually teaches you how to line up your sights in this particular system as well. And I was like, dude, like, I need to be involved with this guy professionally, because he really just blew me away. And it wasn't just the technique. It was the whole class was about how to think and, what to do, in certain scenarios. If, oh my God forbid, I've had to use my firearm to defend myself, what's legal, what should you be encouraged to do? What can you legally omit, allegedly, etc. And I was just like, wow, this guy is really next level. He reminded me like of Bob Ross of like fucking, I don't know, like tactical shit. Cause he was like so eloquent, and it blew me away. So I was like, look, we gotta get involved with this guy. So Jeff had been wanting to update his video series for a while. So we partnered up on a class. It's called Goon Fighter 1. It is a pistol class, and it essentially teaches you that car shooting system. Like I said, he calls it 360 CQD, and this CQD. And there's some modifications, but it takes place both inside a vehicle and just walking around plain clothes. The idea is that, most people are civilians that are going to be, carrying a firearm just in their everyday life. And unfortunately, one of the most dangerous areas to be is in your vehicle, and, the risk of innocent bystanders, other people in your car, and just to have somebody to be able to really, in a very simple way, explain how to dominate a gunfight. And that's his language. I'm like, how do we survive a gunfight? He's like, no, you fucking pussy, like fucking dominate this gunfight. Yeah. And I'm like, Yes, yeah, I was being a huge pussy.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
you're
what I meant.
absolutely right. Yeah, yes, that is
Sorry, I
exactly what I meant.
misspoke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that.
Exactly. So the barbecue is our first in-person. We wanted to make it accessible to people that are like, look, I want to get out there and train and I want to meet the homies in the community, but I don't have like, $1,000 to travel and to spend on ammo and to pay for a 2-day course. That's just not within my means. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's expensive as hell. So what could we do to reduce costs? And so the idea was, look, if we introduce airsoft, which Jeff Johnsgaard, our instructor, is a huge proponent of airsoft for a training tool, even believe it or not, without the BBs, just using like the haptic feedback of the slide reciprocation and just being able to feel, kind of like, using the theater of the mind to develop your skill set with dry fire. It worked out so well. So we made some friends, Biohazard Airsoft, Michael Gonzalez and the homies over there, just super cool. We ended up leaning on them for a lot of help. We did a charity airsoft event with them a few years ago out in California to benefit the folks at Active Valor. If you guys don't know Perry Yee and Active Valor, they do something super, super incredible mission. Essentially what they're doing is they partner up service members with children of fallen service members to put together activities and events and camaraderie building programs so that, if their family member was killed in the line of duty, they have a support network to be able to, keep growing and thriving and moving up and on and keep going forward. And so Michael had helped us put this airsoft event out a few years ago, and it was great. And we asked him politely if he would help us, show us what to do to put together an airsoft event like this. That was just for fun. So we thought, okay, what can we do to make this an enjoyable event? Because again, our thing is fun, right? Guns are fun. It's a legitimate product that has it provides a solution, but at the same time, I am not here to teach you how to pass buds, right? That's not my lane. So we're trying to keep it goony and have it fun. So the beginning of the day is going to be all training. You're going to learn how to do the John Wick cool guy stuff. We're going to break for lunch. We're going to have kick-ass barbecue spread. And then after lunch, we're going to do force on force with BB Wars. We're going to shoot each other. We're going to have a great time. We're going to go out for beers afterwards. And that's the whole thing. It's out, it's July 12th out at Project N1 in California. Shout out to Project N1. They've been super helpful, and all the homies, really just working hard to make this a freaking sweet event. So we're absolutely stoked for that. And I appreciate you bringing it up because we've been planning it for a while.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That is awesome. Just thinking about that. And, so you're doing that. It's out in California. You said it's
Yes.
July. What's the date again?
July 12th. Yep.
July 12th. Yeah.
Yep,
So
at near Los Angeles, Project N1.
okay. Yeah. So this episode, we'll make sure it airs definitely in June, early June, if possible, probably second week. That way you people have a month to decide. Tickets still available and all that stuff.
Yes. Tickets are still available. I think, right now, I think the ticket prices are $75. That includes food. The pricing will go up as we get closer to the event. But yeah, it's for sure.
It wasn't when I was looking it up. It wasn't that expensive. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's for what you're getting though. It's like, man, even go take a class from your local guy. Now, albeit you're shooting your pistol at your local range or whatever, but the tactics and the training you're learning is it's the same thing. As far as the muscle memory. So it's actually something really good. And it's cool that you're bringing that out to California. You're going into the most friendly, most friendly 2A state. And besides New York, I mean, it's like,
bro, we get like no love out here too, because dude, it's like California, everybody knows, believe it or not. So I will say this, California is our #1 state for our customer base. We have more customers in California than any other state because it's huge. But also like there's a lot of gun folks out there that are just like, dude, I live in California. I grew up here, or by circumstance of my employment, I will be here forever. I am not moving. And I will work within the restrictions of my state. And I totally can appreciate that. Again, being growing up in New York and being in New York right now. I'm surprised.
Challenging.
Yeah, it's challenging. And I feel like we're due. in New York for some solid pro 2A lawyers just to clean house, because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm no constitutional scholar, but a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms should not be infringed, is pretty straightforward. That we need to have guns in case we get invaded or a tyrannical government takes over. I mean, military weapons are the point, so why that hasn't been more I don't know, pointedly argued in New York courts, I don't know, but I'm not a lawyer, so
that may be your answer, but I wanted to shift into politics and other gun industry stuff. And it was, now that you are embedded deep in the gun community, you've met a lot of people know who you are, you're working with certain people, what's something along the way and that you've learned politically that has surprised you the most? Is it the fact that these states are just so restrictive and not willing to bend, or what do you think it is?
I think honestly, something that was surprising, actually, it was made more apparent at GOA this past year, where I had brushed shoulders with some, I'll say state level politicians that were, on face value in their language, they were pro-gun. And then you talk to them and they're talking about being thrilled because they were able to only ban Glock switches or only, and make these certain appeasements. And I'm like, oh, these guys aren't gun people. They need gun people's votes. And that's a very big difference. But for the most part, I mean, like, dude, we are so apolitical. It's not even funny. I mean, it's like, what's Goon Tape's stance on? Nothing. We have no stance on anything. More guns to the people, less gun laws. That's our stance. And I would like to get more involved. Like, I know the T-Rex Arms dudes in your state, Mike, did a lot for concealed carry reform, and I would like to get more involved at the constitutional carry movement. And I've reached out to some partners at different organizations, some of them more helpful than others. I think, sometimes when you're trying to convince somebody of an idea, like I had this idea, I wanted to do this concealed carry march, because for me, being in Virginia, so I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was a lobby day in Richmond, where basically the state was going to pass all this crazy, unconstitutional gun laws, and 10, 12, 15,000 people went out to Richmond for the lobby day, where you could, speak your piece to the government, and just suited up. And Virginia is a open carry state, so you could open carry legally. And there were just, dudes walking around with 240 Bravos and all sorts of stuff. And it honestly, I'm for it. It scared the shit out of a lot of people in a good way, where they're like, wow, there's a lot of people on both sides that do not want this. For me, while it accomplished the goals, a lot of the normie folks that I'm trying to bring into the fold are like, holy shit, did you see these psychopaths? And I'm like, no, they're not psychopaths. And I give them my explanations about, why we should have all this stuff. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to showcase that gun people are normal people. And unless we've got our 240s on our shoulder, you wouldn't know us from anybody else. And I thought if we could put together a huge march of concealed carry people, it would instill the fear in, I'll say, the bad guy gun grabbers, because they're like, wow, these efforts are everywhere, and you got people with dreadlocks and skinheads and all sorts of political beliefs, far left, far right, everywhere in between. And that is the myth that, I think is perpetuated on purpose to pretend like everyone is in favor of getting rid of the guns. Is like, no, there's so many people that are of all different belief systems that really understand why we have this, why, we're the, I'll say the only country, the only citizen base in the entire world that I think is still, if you could argue, free. But anyway, that's an entire other topic, but yeah.
I'm trying, we had Eric Pratt on from GOA a couple weeks ago, and I sent him an email. We have an idea of, being that constitutional carry is becoming more prevalent. If you're a teacher, or if you're a coach, or if you're, it doesn't matter your occupation, there are certain programs that you can apply for to get government grants and gain government funding to help you with certain things. And I had emailed Eric, and I would love to do this and try to figure out how to help out, just because it's gonna help our community. The constitutional carry, there's a lot of people that are against it because they're saying, hey, I don't know if, you know, if I just trust my neighbor to just be able to go buy a gun and just carry it wherever he wants.
Right.
And I hear their argument, but I also hear the argument of shall not be infringed. So I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
like here, exit stage left. But if you could figure out a way, if we as a gun community could figure out a way to petition so that these instructors could actually put on classes and get paid from the government to give classes to citizens for free.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
I mean, if you could just sign up, and I mean, you don't have to do CQB and all this craziness. If we could just do Pistol 101, if you could just get intro to handgun, because the thing that a lot of people don't understand, I'm glad you brought it up with the training you took, is it's not just about being a proficient shooter. It's not just about being good with your weapon and knowing the tactics. I'm not trying to nerd out and let everyone say, oh, FUD. But at the same time, it's every bullet is a consequence, and you have to account for where that goes.
Totally,
You have to
dude.
account that when you use that firearm, even if you are protecting your life, are you in a state where if that person is turned to run, is that considered fleeing and the situation is de-escalated and now you're on trial because you shot someone who was fleeing a scene and not trying to cause any more conflict? I
Yep.
just think that I think you should have the right to carry and do whatever you want, but at the same time, knowledge is power. So the more people that know the laws of their state or laws of the land, I think you're going to be better equipped. You see too many TikToks with people, whether it's constitutional carry or not, you see somebody with road rage. Some old white dude gets out of his truck and wants to walk up and talk to somebody behind him, holding a pistol already in his hand. And it's like,
Yeah.
man, the guy that's in the truck that's being approached, if they've got a handgun, like, it can go one of two ways. You can either try to de-escalate and hopefully get out with your life, or do you draw down since he's already brandished a weapon, and do you cause a scene in a traffic stop that probably could have been avoided? I don't know. I think
Yeah,
if we could figure out a way, if we could figure out a way to still incentivize so that the instructors get paid something substantial, not just, oh, we'll give you $10 like per head. If you could actually get them to pay what their normal rates are and give the class for free and it be subsidized, I think that would do wonders just for the community, not just the 2A community, but just as the communities you live in general. The more people that know what they're doing and the more people that are trained, the better we are at anything. Whether it's
Yes.
shooting, cooking, driving, you name it, the more informed we are, the better off we are. So
Yes,
that's kind of my, so I do want to ask though, I got a 2-part question. So the first part is, what do you think the gun industry does well?
What does the gun industry do well? Okay.
It could be products, it could be political, it could be marketing, it could be whatever, but whichever way you want to go.
I think the gun, despite a lot of the inherent vitriol and infighting and industry drama that every industry has, I do think that the gun industry does a pretty decent job being a cohesive force to be reckoned with compared to other industries, in the sense that the computer industry or the automotive industry, for example, they have regulations, but every driver or car enthusiast is not calling up their local senator telling them not to close the direct ship. Some people are, but for the most part, they're not. In the gun industry, I do think that maybe even despite some companies' best intentions, the people are motivated. And so we have this, I think, just general understanding that all of this stuff that we have could very easily go away, and we could be living in some dark and, God forbid, violent times as a result of it. And so, unlike other industries, I think that we do a really good job of making sure that people know that you need to be involved, either through supporting people at the local level or companies or what have you, but it's something that we all pretty much stick together on. And I think that's cool. And, there's drama in every industry, but for the most part, I think the gun industry is pretty tight knit. And with rare exception, everybody that we've worked with has been effing awesome, especially like the really big companies that, you know, like everyone knows of. I just think it's pretty unique, and we're lucky to have people that get it. For the most part, I know there's employees at every company that are like, listen, I need a job, and I get that too. But I think most of the employees are like, yes, I'm a believer in this 2A space. So I think that's pretty cool.
Where do you think we missed the mark?
By being too aggressive and isolating folks that are like video gamers or airsoft people that could become gun owners and part of the pro 2A movement. We scare them away because 240 Bravos are cool, but like if you're wearing your hoochie daddy shorts and your boogaloo shirt and you got your OPSEC helmet and the 240, it's cool to us, but like somebody who is not involved in that, they're thinking, is that guy gonna commit an atrocity? And like that's fucked up, but that's what people are thinking, dude.
No, you're right.
Dude, I was in Scotland last year and I loved it, and I was wearing my cowboy boots as I always do, and everybody was like, oh, American, let me go talk to this guy, right? So they were American. They're like they came right over, and I take it as a point of pride. I feel like when I'm abroad and I'm an ambassador to America, I love it, and I am a huge believer in just our founding documents, etc. And so when they were asking me about like mass shootings and stuff, after I playfully reminded them that they actually haven't gotten their knife control situation down so good.
Yeah.
They were really surprised to learn that like AR-15s were invented in like the 50s and 60s. And, when I asked them why they thought there weren't these issues with mass shootings back then, I could see the light bulb going off of like, okay, maybe it's not the tool, so to speak. And so, I think that's important to talk about, to bring people into the fold without being like, as I'm guilty of it too. I'm like, recreational nukes, motherfuckers, let's go, line them up. But at the same time, it's like, no, okay, maybe you don't need a Glock 19, grandma. Maybe you just need to have some situational awareness and trust your gut feeling and don't be answering the door at 2 a.m. or something like that. So anyway, bringing people into the fold, we got to do a little bit of a better job at that. But that's what we're working on. We're working on that hard over at Goon Tape.
So Adam, since I would say maybe even since the purchase of that first shotgun you were telling us about, but definitely since forming Goon Tape and working in the 2A space and the 2A industry, have your views and opinions on gun rights and the Second Amendment changed?
I mean, probably.
Were they as strong?
They were probably not as strong. I mean, I would say for the most part, yes, because I can remember, so I remember getting my first pistol, which was a Glock 19. I remember getting my driver's license, my concealed carry license, and my first pistol on the same day. And remember thinking that was like the greatest thing ever. So I was always like super, pro 2A. But now I think I'm more on the side of like, we got to get people involved, because like back then it was like, dude, don't mess with me, don't tread on me, motherfucker, and now it's still that, but more so along the lines of that, okay, well, I want to make sure that we are starting people in the right way so that their first experience with a firearm isn't on live stream and they're, having a little desk pop action. That's not good for anybody. Yeah, I mean, like, I am definitely I don't even know what you would call it, like 2A to the max constitutional extremist. I am a believer that unless you're a crazy person, basically, or are just the type of person that can't be in society, you should be able, and you're an adult, you should own a firearm. Yeah, I mean, getting more and more, I was going to say radicalized, but that's not even true, and I don't want like any sound bites.
No, it's normalized.
Goon Tape is radicalizing all of their clients.
Yes, just I'm
There's a reel.
Yes, indeed, radical.
Yeah. So, my last question to wrap up before Matt gets to his is, as a member of the industry now, we've got, like you said, I'm glad you brought up the AR back in the 50s. The AK was late 40s. Then even the heralded HK MP5. I mean, that was 50s. It seems like, we're all still living off of that innovation, which is crazy to think. But with the advancements of additive printing and a few other companies out there coming up with new things, you kind of get a feel for it like we do. And on your opinion, has innovation really kicked back up, or is it more of the same old shit with a new twist and a different colorway?
It's a good question. I would say for the most part, it's probably same old. And I don't mean that negatively, because we've been able to really just become an industry of precision, where there's a lot of small shops that are out there that are making equipment to unbelievably tight tolerances. And that's incredibly impressive. And then conversely, like you mentioned, the most popular platforms were developed well into the previous century. And I think a lot of that has less to do with the industry and more to do with the restrictions placed on it. For example, you know, there's so much red tape involved with making anything of substance that, you know, if you wanted to come out with a laser pistol or something like that, that would be like a next generation. I mean, there's a lot of language that, you know, is written into some of our laws that really stifles a lot of the innovation. But at the same time, like you had mentioned, 3D printing is huge. I mean, that's the anti-gun control. It's like, oh, you're gonna ban files. You're not going to let people learn how things are made. You're going to ban printers. I mean, and then you still think you're on the good guy team. I mean, come on. So
Just burn all the books too.
burn the books, dude. It's okay when we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody, the reason I wanted to ask that question is because someone asked me that question, and I was like, I thought about it for a second, and I was like, all right, well, we'll just take it to a gun. To me is a tool. So we'll just take it to another tool. Walk through your local hardware store, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to wherever, go look at the hammers, go look at the wrenches. How long ago do you think that wrench, that box wrench, was designed in the shape that it is? And to say that the technology in the tool industry, oh, it sucks, they haven't advanced and innovated enough because they still run off that same old design, it kind of makes me think, well, wait a minute. Maybe they just got it right finally. And there's a lot of other iterations. Like, you can buy other wrenches. Some of them are self-ratcheting. Some of them are crow's feet. Some of them are, long, stubby, angled, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, you go back to that tried and true. I'm going to buy my wrench set or my hammer, and that's what it's for. And I really think that's what it is with firearms. I think that the three gentlemen, or the three teams that created those firearms, the AR, the AK, and the HK, I think they got it right. And then you throw Browning in there with it. Everyone's doing their interpretation, but we found an ergonomic, workable system that, I mean, I guess, lack of better term, it just works.
Just works, man. Yeah.
There are other iterations. People come out with things, and sometimes they are cool, but they're not going to replace, the AR or the AK as an industry standard. And then other ones come out and they're hot garbage. So I don't know. I think that it's more of a, they got it right. And I'm with you. I think I think innovation is happening, but I think that if you're trying to innovate a new weapon platform, unless you're going for a military contract or you're trying to just corner a certain market of the industry, you may be spinning your wheels. I hope you prove me wrong and change the industry, but I think you may be spinning your wheels.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think that, it kind of reminds me of the question, and Matt, you as an AK guy could probably appreciate when people are like, dude, is the 7.62 by 39 obsolete? And I'm thinking, no, like, is it still going to kill you really easily? Like,
Stand in front of it.
right? It's the things still work. And to your point, I think, there's especially with the John Browning designs. I mean, that dude just genius, literal genius. Ammunition, though, I mean, over the last few years, like the monolithic copper solid ammunition and some of the expanding ammunition, but especially like the monolithic copper has been really impressive. As I mentioned, I'm a big FUD, so I like 45. And, when you're seeing, like 1,200 feet per second with, standard pressure, from those rounds going out of your 1911, I'm like, this is like the stuff of like, like fiction almost. So like, I think
Yeah.
that's really innovative. There's a lot of other, probably a more slippery, interesting cartridges in the long range game, but that's not my forte. So I'll leave that to some other guys to comment on. But yeah, I'm with you. And I think that it's just there, it's like kind of like with Hollywood movies now. I think a lot of the innovation, unless you're really committed to succeeding at all costs, and if you fail and lose everything, you're going to start right back up again, which is pretty rare quality. People are doing safe stuff because, dude, they're, if things go wrong, it's like their livelihoods are affected, and
It's easier to remake Footloose.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude. It's why they don't make any new movies. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, Lilo and Stitch did really well as a cartoon. Should we make it a live action movie? It's like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
That,
Wait, it's Hawaiian. We need The Rock. Like, I don't even know if he's in it, but I'm just saying, it's like, okay, yeah, like I think so, and I think you're right, and I think the innovation now is going to come on the ammunition side of the powder side. It's going to have to be in the case or in the projectile. Like caseless ammunition is huge now as far as innovation goes. It's going to have to come from something else, because I think we have beat the proverbial dead horse to death with the rest of the stuff. So, man, Matt, bro, I think
Are we there?
I think we are there for your question, man.
I think we're about there. I told you at the beginning. I hope you've been thinking about it.
Five guns, right?
It's time for top 5 guns, Adam. So you know the rules.
Okay.
NFA doesn't apply.
Right.
It's not the zombie apocalypse or anything like that. But you do have to cover all the styles of shooting that you like to do in your life with only 5 guns. So
only 5 guns.
What 5 guns are you taking, Adam?
Okay. Number 1, I am going to go with, I'm a big revolver guy. So I'm going to go huge revolver guy. Like I said, a big old FUD. So for me, number 1, it's going to be my Ruger LCR and 38 Special. That is my underwear gun, my bathing suit gun. It disappears, and with the hammer hook grips, excuse me. I mean, I run it. I say Mexican style. I don't know if people say that, but holsterless, holsterless. And it's dude, it's like if I could only have one, it would be that, because it's literally, there's no excuse to not have it, right?
Love a good old Saturday night special.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Number 2, I'll probably go with like a Ruger Mark IV 22 LR suppressed. Plinker, getting your squirrel in case of the apocalypse, plinking around, doing everything you need a pistol to do. It's fun. It's cheap to shoot. You can carry a lot of ammo with it. Then I got to go, I think probably exact opposite side of the spectrum. I got to go like with a Dillon minigun, like an M134 or something like that.
Go.
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot of broken vehicles that I would be more inclined to be fixing if it had, if it was a technical, had a minigun on the back of it. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Can't argue with a 308 either. So that's me right there. Let's see what else. You know what? Let me think.
You got 2 pistols and a minigun. 2
pistols, yeah. So I'm gonna add another pistol. I am gonna go with a 1911. This is my go-to. I like the bobbed mainspring, so I could carry it without printing super easily. Single stack 45. Don't need any optics. Commander slide. And then the last one, I gotta go with the rifle. I gotta get. I would say, I gotta go with an AK, man. I'm gonna go with like a Zastava
Smooth bore.
M92, dude. Suppressed Zastava M92. Get that short barrel 7.62 by 39. Getting out there, reaching out and touching things, and yeah, it's RPK receiver, so it's never gonna break on me. So anyway, that's my 5 guns at this one particular time. That'll change the next time you ask me, probably.
Dude, before we get out of here, Adam, why don't you go ahead and plug yourself and tell everyone where they can find you?
Yes. Well, first off, thank you guys so much for having me. I had a freaking blast. This was fun. Thanks for letting me say a whole bunch of unhinged stuff to your lovely followers. Hello, lovely followers.
Absolutely.
You can find us mostly on Instagram at goon_tape. And our website is goontape.com. Keep on the lookout for all the collaborative events and products that we come out with. Those are probably our favorite things to do. And yeah, check out our course on our website. If you want to learn how to absolutely dominate a gunfight within 10 feet and look like a cool guy while doing it. So thanks so much.
Dude, love that. So before we get out of here, our 2A advice and words of wisdom, take a new person shooting and let's set them up for success. So let's take them out, set them up for success, give them something controllable to shoot, something that they enjoy, something that makes them put the damn gun down and say, wow, that was fun as hell. Let's do it again. And it brings them back. The more we have in our community, the merrier. And man, that's our word for advice. Adam, you got anything?
Right there with you. Yeah, man, go out there, talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk about this subject. I know, a lot of people ask pointed questions, but, we're the ambassadors to make sure that the next generation is as protected and arguably more protected than we are. So go talk to people that don't agree with you and be an ambassador, a force of good. And like you said, Mike, bring them out to the range and keep it fun and safe.
Awesome, man. Well, Adam, we appreciate you joining us. And on behalf of myself and Matt, we want to say thanks for stopping in, and we will catch you guys next time.
See ya.